Sunshine State Conference men's basketball. From the campus of the University of Tampa, the Tampa Spartans will battle the Berry Buccaneers. Tampa coming in right now 11th place in the SSC at 4-13, 7-18 overall on the season. The Berry Buccaneers are 17-7, 11-6 in the SSC. So an important game for technically both teams, as Berry is in 4th place in the conference. The top 4 teams will get home court advantage in the first round of the SSC playoffs, also fighting to see if they can bolster that NCAA resume. The Spartans last place, tied with Eckerd at a 4-13 mark, but have 2 more home games before finishing the season on the road, and a couple wins could move them up into that 8th spot and get a first round Sunshine State Conference play. Hi everybody, Jack Ike along with Scott Lynn. Women just won an outright championship. The men now fighting for their conference life.
And the good news is Pat Bacon, who missed his first game of the season last Wednesday night because of strep throat, is back and available today, and that's good news. He's averaging over 21 points a game. That was a huge loss to the Spartans men's team, but they played a very strong game and got a win their last time out. Also, no question about it, Berry also played well and got a win at Rollins last time out.
Now our national anthem. So we'll get you the starting lineups for today's game and get ready for this matchup. For the Berry Buccaneers, they will be starting number 1, Evan Walsh. He is a 6'4" senior from Tring, England, went to Oakland's College. Number 3 is David Moya, a 6-foot senior guard from Plantation, Florida. Number 5 is Tylen Britz, a 6'6" senior leading scorer and rebounder on the team from Florida City, Florida by way of Santa Fe College. Number 11 in the middle is a 6'8" sophomore, Justinas Marcinkevičius from Lithuania. Number 14 to round out the starting lineup is Leandro Allende, a 6'6" senior from Puerto Rico. Started at the Citadel and now is at Berry. The head coach is Butch Estes. The assistant coach, Dante Calabria. And as I mentioned to Scott Lynn, Dante has an NCAA Division I men's basketball championship ring as he played on the 1993 North Carolina national champions. The starting lineups for the University of Tampa. Number 0, Martin Lakovic, a 6'7" junior from Serbia. Number 2 is Derek Felder, a 6'2" junior guard from Yonkers, New York by way of Herkimer College. Number 12 in the middle, Kadeem Guy, a 7-foot junior from Dakar, Senegal by way of Akron and South Carolina. Number 22, Brent Duncan, set a career-high rebounding mark on Wednesday against Florida Tech, is a 6'7" junior from Atlanta, Georgia. And back in the starting lineup is number 25, Pat Bacon, a 6-foot senior guard from Indianapolis, Indiana, Lawrence North High School. As Scott said, Pat Bacon missed the last game the Spartans played with strep throat, but the Spartans were able to get that home court win over Florida Tech. Referees for today's game, Mark Ellard, Victor Montgomery, and David Howard. One of them is using our phone charger. Not sure which referee is, but one of them's using our phone charger.
Oh yeah. And I'm trying to keep my phone charged because I'm going to a concert tonight and I want to be able to take a few pictures or videos. So I might unplug him and maybe he'll never know.
He said he needed it just till the half.
Okay. Well, that's the most he's going to get.
There.
I've got a second one. See, I came prepared.
Okay.
I came
There's
prepared.
An outlet. Kadeem Guy to jump for the Spartans, the big man in the middle.
Guy actually had 5 block shots against Barry when they played at Barry earlier this year.
On the side, driving the lane is Allende. Kicks it back out. That's Brits. Guarded by Duncan. Pushes Duncan. Jumper in the lane, and he hits it.
I guess I should mention that Barry did win that game despite the 5 blocks. 80-63 was the final. Pat Bacon had a game-high 22 points in that game for Tampa.
Burt's averaging 19.1 points a game and 8.7 rebounds a game, leading in both respects for Barry. Felder with the ball. He had a great game in the win over Florida Tech. Bacon bouncing it into Guy. 1 on the shot clock. Didn't get it off in time.
That's too bad because that was a really nice, strong move, and he caught the ball well, grabbed it with both hands. One of the things we've mentioned about Kadeem is he tends to not grab the ball cleanly on a pass to him, but that time it was all good except the clock ticked down to 0 before he could get the shot away.
Moya crossed the timeline to Burt's. Bouncing it inside, off the glass, no good. Rebound doesn't go, but there's a foul called. Kadeem Guy with the foul. He's prone to foul trouble. It will be Evan Walsh on the free throw line.
Walsh was one of 4 players to score in double figures in that game against Tampa. He had 10 points and 5 assists. Burst, you mentioned earlier, 16 points, 12 boards, and Dolvin had 14 points, 14 rebounds. So 2 double-doubles by those 2 guys.
Hits the first. Walsh, I should say, 73% free throw shooter. 40% from 3. Burt's is 43%. So watch those guys if they get open deep. 3-0 as Walsh converts just 1 of 2. Bacon to Duncan, lays it in.
Brent Duncan has just been a beast the last 2 games. Had a career high in points scored 2 games ago. Last game had 16 rebounds, a career high.
Moya off the front of the rim, chasing it. Felder saves it. Bacon in the middle. Gives it up. Right to Moya. Moya uncontested, lays it in. Bacon got caught up in the air and his passing lane got cut off. Lakovic. Duncan out top. Finds Bacon on a give and go. Lakovic for 3. A little bit strong. Coming to the other end of the court. Allende kicks it off to Moya. Moya for 3. Too strong. Lakovic chases it down, but Burt's gets it. Bounce pass inside. Marcinkevicius lays it in. 7-2, Barry on top. Felder, nice lane drive, and will get the and one. Just turned the corner off the pick. Laid it in, got fouled on the way up.
Lakovic had a double-double on Wednesday night in the Tampa win over Florida Tech. He's played some very strong basketball. He's been in some foul trouble, as you've mentioned in the broadcast before. I think he's fouled out of 7 games this year. But if he's on the floor, he is very athletic. He can go get the basketball for you.
Birds, top of the key to Moya. Marcinkiewicz in and out. Derek Felder back in the Spartan lineup. He missed a go. There's a bad pass taken away by Birds. And he just dunks over Lakovic. Wow.
Oh, my. He saw Lakovic coming and knows that he's a great leaper. So he went with some authority to the rack that time. Oh, my
I was waiting for Lakovic for the amazing block.
Yeah.
Because he can do that. Yeah.
What an athletic play. Wow.
Felder, fadeaway free throw line, rolls out. Duncan fighting for it, gets it. As a bounce away from him, goes out of bounds, and it will be to Barry.
You saw Duncan go hard to get that basketball. He's playing some inspired basketball, Jack, and the last 2 games we mentioned, right before he went off for his career high in points, he learned that his best friend back home had passed away unexpectedly. And he has dedicated himself to try to play inspired basketball every time he goes on the floor now the rest of the season.
Marcinkiewicz blocked by Guy. But Allende knocks it down, and it's 11-5. Walsh guarding Bacon. Felder for 3. Off the rim, no good. Duncan tips it, but into the hands of Moya. Directs traffic while Burt's adjusted his shoe, I think. Back out, top of the key, passing on it. Walsh drives, runs into Felder, and I think Felder gets called for the foul.
Good call that time. The officials doing a nice job, as these 2 teams are very athletic. There's going to be some pushing and shoving and whatnot, but definitely the right call there. The officials today, I don't know if you mentioned them, Mark Ellard, Victor Montgomery, and David Howard. And again, they're off to a very good start here in this game. And so is Barry, the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are a team, you know, again, we're talking about Butch Estes in his 7th year at Barry. Was the SSC Coach of the Year in 2017 and 18. He's got a winning percentage of .729, 151 and 56 in his years at Barry. He got his 100th career win as a Barry Bucks head coach with a double overtime win at Tampa, December 9th of 2017. Now that was at the time, I think, when I was calling the Trailblazer games. And I don't believe I was home for that game. So I think you had the call of that. Do you remember the double overtime game?
Yeah.
Wow. But they've had a bunch of great players through the years. Elvar Friedrichsen, back-to-back SSC Player of the Year 3 times, I think, in a row. He made first team All SSC. Adrian Gonzalez the year before, 2017. They went to the Elite 8 in 2018 after winning their 3rd consecutive regular season title. This is a Barry Buccaneer program that has had a lot of success through the years under Butch Estes, the former Furman coach and a former Fox Sports analyst on TV.
Yep.
Knows the game and can talk about it.
Yes.
Maybe I should have Elena D'Alfredo talk to him. Maybe he knows somebody.
I bet he's got connections. Walsh hits the free throws, and it's 13-5 into the lineup for the Buccaneers. is number 21, Johannes Dolven. Bacon, little floater in the lane, rolls it over the rim. Bounce pass into Dolven. Walsh in the lane and traveled.
The two outside officials looked at each other to make sure they were in agreement on the call, making sure that there was no foul that created the travel, but they both nodded, yes, it's a travel.
Some backcourt pressure. Bacon able to beat it. Felder drives the lane, tries to get it to Guy, tipped away, got it to Bacon though.
Now that wasn't Guy's fault for not coming up with it cleanly. That was a tough bounce pass.
Duncan drives, glass, fouled on the way in. Duncan had a career-high 27 points 2 games ago. And then the last game, he had 9 points, of which 7 were from the free throw line.
Yeah, and again, 16 rebounds that night.
He had 10 rebounds the day he had 27 to set a career high, and then broke it. The next game was 16.
Only a 61% free throw shooter on the year, but he did have a nice game the other night.
Gets that one, and it's 13-8. Into the lineup for Barry is Dean. That's Taru Dean. Jumper by Dolven. Looking at the referee, like got fouled as well as hit the jumper. (15-8). Tipped out of bounds by Allende.
You know, I was looking again, we talked about all the 10 international players on the women's team at Barry University. There are obviously, as you can tell by Jack's pronunciations of the names, a lot of players from around the world on this team as well. England, Lithuania, Latvia, Norway, Prague, Czech Republic, Chile. I'm really kind of glad I took the women's game. The names were a little easier.
Yeah, they were. Lakovic burying the 3 there. The lead is just 4 for Barry.
You know, I was just looking at a book that I have on my sports library at home, an ESPN book that had the first player from all these different countries around the world and the NBA teams that they were drafted by. And the Portland Trailblazers, where I had worked for a lot of years, were the NBA team that had 9 different countries. That the first player ever from that country to play in the NBA came to the Trailblazers. They really did work international scouting quite a bit. But I'm just thinking too, many of these were back in the 80s, and maybe early 90s. And I was just thinking, I wonder if some of those young broadcasters who are there now would understand how to pronounce Ruben Boumche.
Yeah, I remember him. Yes.
I mean, again, there's Fernando Martin, Drazen Petrovic.
Yes.
Obviously, Drazen was an all NBA player, but when he joined the New Jersey Nets. So, but I just thought that was kind of funny. I thought, I wonder how many of those broadcasters in Portland right now would know how to pronounce the names of those early
I think
Trailblazers.
The hockey broadcasters were probably indoctrinated into that field earlier than anyone.
And while we've been talking and reminiscing a little bit, the Spartans have kind of made it a game here.
15-13. Couple free throws, tightened it up. Burt's in the lane. Back out to Taru Dean. Looking for the fadeaway, puts it up off the back. Right to the hands of Dolven, missing, tipped, out of bounds. Stays Barry's ball.
You know, we saw the step back jumper on the baseline there. That's really a shot that's really come into being just in recent years. I don't remember that being in anybody's arsenal until, I don't know, was Michael Jordan one of the first to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, you think about the great shooters in the day, Maravich or Jerry West or whatever. I don't remember any step-back jumpers.
There were fadeaways, but not step-back jumpers.
Yeah. Where they take that little hop back to create space. That's your assignment before the next game, Jack. You have to find out who brought that into the...
We have an intern, don't we? Spartans can tie or take the lead. Bacon's going to tie it, yes.
And there's your fall-away shot that you just mentioned. He didn't step back, he just fell away.
Fell away, yep. That's been around
Jack.
for a while.
Yep, premonition from Jack. He knew it was coming.
By the way, Pat Bacon's parents are listening at home, and he said to say hi to them. And his mom is going to be down here Wednesday for senior night.
Oh, nice.
And I said stop over and say hi, so the word is out.
That's great.
Off the glass, no good. And a chance to take the lead now for the Spartans.
Pat, obviously this is his next to last home game, and he really wanted to play. So he had that strep throat, missed the game on Wednesday. So glad to see him on the floor today.
Felder for three, deep corner. Back of the rim, gets his own rebound. 20 on the shot clock. Duncan up, no. Felder tips it in.
And Pat Bacon and a couple of his teammates were out at the half-court stripe going, bring it out, let's bring it out. And those two guys worked hard inside to get that bucket, Brent Duncan and Felder.
Felder now with 5, Bacon with 6, top scorers. And a foul on Brendan Baker on the drive. That'll take us to the under 12 timeout. 10:51 left in the first half. 17-15. Tampa Spartans on top of the Berry Buccaneers. Been watching the games all year long on the Sunshine State Digital Network and TampaSpartans.tv. Busy weekend here on the University of Tampa campus. There's doubleheader softball going on as we speak. Doubleheader baseball going on as we speak.
You called the baseball game last night here on TampaSpartans.tv.
Is the Friday night starter, which is usually your ace. They were playing Florida Southern, one of the top team in battle between two top 5 teams. And Kanar pitched 7 innings. That's 21 outs, 15 strikeouts.
I saw that. You tweeted that out, I think, last night, and I know the Spartans did as well. And I thought that is more than 2 strikeouts per inning. That's pretty impressive.
Well, at one time, actually through 6 innings, 18 outs, he had the 15 strikeouts. I don't think he got any in the 7th. The team ended up with 20, which is set a school record for most strikeouts in a 9-inning game.
Wow. And you know what? It was brisk out there last night.
Oh, man.
It's cold right now in Tampa.
I actually shut the window. We sit in the press box. And I was a weenie about the whole thing. I put a microphone outside the press box.
I thought of you. I thought of you.
It was cold.
The microphone so that you could hear the gnat
crowd
sound.
noise.
The crowd noise, yeah.
But I've always told my daughter, who's lost her feeling about Wisconsin's weather, and I always said it's Florida cold, and I said, no, tonight it's cold.
Yeah, flat out cold. And the only gnat sound you got from the crowd was people going...
Teeth chattering. Jumper by Dean. Bounces around. Ripped down by Lakovich. Pushes it to Felder.
You know, the one thing about Tampa, all this year, they've played hard at home. They have a winning record at home. Just 7-18 overall, but 5-4 at home. And they give every team trouble.
Yep. Brendan Baker from the deep water off the front of the rim.
That's a good shot for him. He can hit that.
Yep. Marcinkevichus back out to Moya. No good.
What defense by Brent Duncan. And then he sealed and got the defensive board as well. But he did not give an inch on that possession that time. This man had the ball and was trying to back him down. And Brent Duncan said, not down here, you're not.
Deep again. Front of the rim, no good. Spartans coming up short on their threes. Not left or right, but just short so far. Dean for 3. Good. Back in the lead is Berry with half of the first half gone.
They've missed their first 6 from three-point range, but did hit that one. Tampa's 1 for 6. So they are both shooting the three, just not necessarily knocking them all down.
Duncan, top of the key, looking for a cutter. Bacon, semi-posting up, now takes it deep. Has it knocked out of his hands, and he's going to get a foul from deep in the backcourt. Pat was a little frustrated, thought he got fouled, may have been fouled on the jump shot.
And he's telling the official, I got fouled on the way up. And there's no question. I mean, he was trying to hustle and make a steal, but that was almost a foul in frustration, as you said.
No doubt.
I think it was a screen being set.
Okay, an illegal pick.
Down inside. Walsh picking up his second foul there. You talked about Wednesday night. It'll be senior night for the men and women. Chris Nelson, the point guard, is the only senior on the women's team, and Pat Bacon, the only senior on the men's team. But wow, what two important cogs they are on their respective squads.
10 on the shot clock. Felder probing, fading away, no good. Allende to Burt. Walsh on the drive, and he gets fouled on the way up. Might be on Lakovich.
A hard foul, but a good foul in that situation for Tampa, as Walsh was going to get to the rim otherwise. And again, a clean foul. It wasn't dirty. It was just a good hard foul to make sure the shooter did not get the ball to go.
Just the first on Lakovich. He's also somewhat foul prone, so good to see he doesn't get his first till 12 minutes in.
Yeah, 7 times this year he's been disqualified because of foul. So, yeah, to your point, he has been in some foul trouble.
Couple free throws bounce in. 20-17, Barry by 3.
You see Mylan Sheffield checking in here, Jack, number 4, 5'7" junior. He just looks like he's cat quick.
Yeah.
Just walking out on the floor. It's like, I'm about to steal the ball from you.
A 5'7", 130-pound junior. Inside the guy.
My left leg weighs that much. I don't know if you heard that. My left leg weighs that much.
5 on the shot clock. Bacon knows it. Drives off the glass. No good. Guy fights for it, but taken away by Burtz.
Burtz is strong. He's 6'6", but he's also got a lot of strength up at his shoulders and arms.
Marcinkiewicz on the drive, and he's fouled.
Marcinkiewicz with a nice drive that time.
That'll be the under 8 timeout with Barry on top. 20-17, 7:19 to go.
We talked about a lot of the Barry players of the past. I did want to mention Daniel Mortensen, who was second team All-SSC last season. You add him into the likes of Adrian Gonzalez and Friedrichsen, and I mean, again, you've got some quality players there. I had the pleasure, I think it was in 2015, of calling the SSC championship game over in Kissimmee, the men's game, and it was Florida Southern with that great team that defeated Barry, which was also an outstanding team. It was like those were the 2 best teams that I'd seen in a long time. And again, Division II, they were obviously 2 of the very best. It was a shame that Barry got out before they could get to the chance to maybe do damage in the NCAA tournament. But Florida Southern was not to be denied. They were so good that year. It was just a really impressive game. That game, that championship game, was, you saw the best of Division II basketball on display.
Well, the one thing that's, well, there are a bunch of things different between Division I and Division II, but one difference between 1 and 2 is the regions for NCAA play. Regions are true regions at the Division II level. Regions are just names for the NCAA Division I. They send you where they want you to go.
Right.
Here you're seated within your region and you play within your region.
Right.
So you could play a team in your conference twice. You could meet them in the conference tournament a third time, and you might meet them for the trip to the Final Four.
Right. And again, I believe, and I'm trying to remember, my brain isn't what it used to be, that Barry, I think, got an NCAA tournament bid, even though they lost in the SSE championship game. Florida Southern was just not to be denied that year.
Duncan tipped away, rebounds back in. He is just so tough, and a player is down for Barry under the basket. It may be Allende. Yeah, it is. No, it's Marcinkevich's. I think he got hit in the stomach and he went down. He's subbed for Dolvin back in the game. Moya with the ball. 21-19, Barry by 2. Burtz spins, nowhere to go. Allende, deep three, in and out. Sheffield guarding Felder. Felder has his shot blocked. Quickly pushing it up to Sheffield, to the corner to Moya for 3. Good. David Moya knocks it down. He now has 5, and it's 24-19 Barry. And some backcourt pressure.
Moya is a 38% shooter from three-point range, and he's only like the 5th best player. There are 4 players shooting over 40% from beyond the arc.
They average 88 a game, so they're not shy. Though, and that'll be a charge on Duncan. Burt's taking that one. Typically, when teams come in, there's about 3 or 4 SSC teams in the 85 over. A couple of them around 100 a game. But usually when they play Tampa, they're in the 70s.
Yeah. And, you know, you talk a lot. I mean, Barry right now comes into this game 4th in the conference. They're 2.5 games ahead of the 5th-place team, Embry-Riddle, going into the game. They're probably going to host a first-round game if they finish relatively strong. Tampa's not totally out of the picture.
Right.
After winning the last game, they're tied with Eckerd for 10th. If they win all 3 games, they could still. I mean, Lynn is the 8th-place team at 6-11. They're only 2 games behind Lynn, so they're with 3 games left, including this one.
Yep.
They're only 2 games behind the 8th-place team. They could still, if they win out, play in the SSE tournament. The top 8 make it.
Now, unfortunately, Florida Southern comes in Wednesday.
That is an issue.
The top team in the conference.
16-2 and 24-2 overall, and just darn good again.
I went over to the game at Florida Southern, and they ended up winning by about 20 to 30 points. Florida Southern did. That was a game where the Spartans dressed 8. They had a lot of injuries. They dressed 8. 4 were walk-ons.
Wow.
Just the injury problems and illnesses have just been amazingly bad for Tampa this year. Even the coaching staff has had illnesses. Felder gets fouled.
That's too bad. That takes an assist away from Brent Duncan on a really nice find of Felder, but Felder couldn't do anything. He got hit hard from behind. I want to finish the thought about that 2014-15 season, the season I mentioned that Barry and Florida Southern played in the SSE title game. I was correct. Yes, the Bucks made it to the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament. Barry, which won a school record 11 straight games at that time, rose up to number 2 in the nation and was ranked in the top 25 every single week except the first week of the season. They knocked off then number 1 Florida Southern 107-102 on the road in early January. And that, I believe, was Florida Southern's only loss all season.
Yeah.
And then they had a rematch, and it was a great game. And then they met for the SSE championship. Those 2 teams that year were just outstanding.
They were head and shoulders above everyone.
I remember Barwetta
Yes.
was the star for Barry, and he was something.
An amazing player.
Yeah.
I believe he went to an NBA camp. There's a pick on Allende. Will give Tampa the ball. Exactly 5 minutes to go in the half. A 5-point lead for Barry.
You don't think the official who laid his phone over here would mind if I surf the net a little bit, do you?
Call some friends?
Yeah. I'm not going to, just for the record, to be clear.
It was just joking.
Just a thought, just a joke. Totally. They are resetting the clock here.
Game and shot clock been reset.
There we go.
Bacon with Dean on him. Gio Diaz in the lineup for the first time for Tampa. Good three-point shooter.
Has been starting a lot of games.
Yep, he started with Bacon out last Wednesday. That may not help his cause, though, as that one's thrown away. They are saying it was kicked.
Yeah, Richard Smith said he was tripped up, and the official said, nah, he was kind of throwing the ball away before he got upended.
And a trip can be incidental.
Yes. Good first half, really, for Tampa, trying to hang in with a talented Barry team.
Ooh, long three, just into the lineup, is number 15, Ravis Serbinskis. Guy down low, got to fight to keep the ball away. Back out to Baker, finds Diaz, three on the way, rims out. They might have gotten Allende with the foul.
Yeah, underneath Guy. And I think that's the 7th team foul, so it might be shooting. Yeah, it'll be a 1-on-1 for Guy.
And right to under 4 timeout.
This might be an adventure. Guy going to the free throw line. I kid him. He's 5 of 11 on the year, 45%. Hey, the big guy just doesn't get to the line very often. He just doesn't. And he'll probably get better with that as time goes on. But again, Tampa, you know, you come into the game and people look at the records. It's Tampa's 7-18 and Barry's 17-7, and you probably around the conferences, there are a lot of people that think, at least some of the fans might think, well, Barry's going to win there easily. Not so fast.
Right.
You know, they might win, but it won't be easy.
They're going to have to earn it.
It won't be easy.
Tampa with 8 team fouls right now. Barry with 7. Tampa 15 rebounds, Barry with 10. Relatively clean game to this point. Both teams with just, well, Tampa with 8 turnovers. Barry with 4.
You know, as Guy goes to the line, I was just double checking. Pat Bacon, I was trying to remember. I could not remember any game in which he did not score in double figures, but he at Embry-Riddle, the game before the Wednesday night game he missed, he only scored 7. That was the first time all year he'd been held under double digits. What a good season he's having. Twice in his career he's averaged 19 points a game, and now this year over 21.
And we saw him with a career high a couple weeks ago, 41.
40, right on the nose, yeah, 40.
He told you he's never scored 40 in a game before.
Ever, ever. Not high school or biddy basketball or junior high or anything.
Duncan, oh, nice left-handed layup. Using his strength, got a little opening, reverse pivot, and put it in. Duncan with 7.
Brent has been so good these last 2.5 games here. It just makes you excited about next year when he'll be a senior.
Skrbinskis knocks that one down. 29-23. Bacon looking. Diaz, a three on the way. No good. Guy rips it down. Goes back to Bacon. Diaz traveled on the start.
That's unfortunate for the Spartans because they had several opportunities to get a shot in that sequence, and then it ends up with a travel.
I wish Guy would go up when he gets those rebounds.
Yes. He's 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
He had the ball under the basket.
Get the ball, keep it high, keep it shoulder level or higher, and go up.
And he's got those long arms, so I mean he can jump well.
Yeah.
So why not go up and stuff it?
But twice he's gotten the ball down low off boards, and he's looked to pass it out.
There's the improvement that will make them a much better team next year.
Burtz.
He is really impressive. He plays under control. He's got a lot of athleticism, a lot of strength. I can see why he is their leading scorer and the rebounder, and even block shot guy.
6 points today.
Also their leading steal guy. I mean, he just does so much for him.
That's a triple crown there. Bacon trying to get around Dolvin. Dolvin put the leg out, and Bacon will go to the line, as he has often.
Bacon, the top free throw shooter on the team, percentage-wise at 85%. They really need to get these two. They don't want to fall behind double digits by halftime. They don't want to stay to a single-digit deficit, if not close the gap even further.
Hits them both. Bacon with 8. Under 2 to go first half. Sheffield drives the lane, kicks it out to Burtz, lays it short, but got fouled on the way in. But he wanted to hammer that one.
He really did, and Duncan made sure he didn't, but that is the second foul on Duncan, and now got to just kind of be careful here this last minute 36. You got both Felder and Lakovic, and now Duncan with 2. You don't want any of them to pick up a third. Barry's kind of in a similar boat with Walsh and Moya and Allende also has 2. So all 3 of those players have 2 fouls.
So about a half a dozen players trying to avoid that third foul. Felder won't go. Spartans having trouble with the 3 today, 1 of 9 now.
It wasn't a bad shot. It was early in the shot clock, but it was a good look, and Felder can knock that shot down.
Burtz on a fadeaway.
He's been in the weight room.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yep.
He and Duncan both. They look like they could have a battle under the boards and then at the bench press.
Yes. Bacon the drive, scoops it up and in.
Little dipsy-do.
Wow. 34-27 under a minute. They'll have to shoot near the 20-second mark at the latest. Dean bouncing it inside to Dolvin. He may have traveled. No, they're getting Guy.
Guy put his arms around him twice and didn't get called. It was the 3rd time
where he didn't do anything nearly as severe.
The thing is, his arms are so long, I don't think he did touch him, even though his arms were wrapped around him. That's got to be disconcerting if you're the guy trying to dribble down in there.
Unfortunately, Guy becomes the 4th Spartan with 2 fouls.
And Coach Schmidt says, I don't want the big guy to get another one. So Lakovic and Guy both on the bench here.
I think he's kind of trusting that Felder knows how to stay out of foul trouble. Will have less opportunity to get in foul trouble. Duncan just has to be careful. With the Spartans
watch for full
having
court
the ball.
pressure here after the made free throw, especially with 27 seconds left. At the very least, they want Tampa to have to use the clock so they don't have much time to set up a shot at this end.
Duncan trying to get the rebound, comes out to Dean. 15 seconds. They'll have a chance for a shot. Dean guarded by Diaz. Drives, comes out, puts up a jumper. No good. Duncan fighting for it, rips it away, and I think he got fouled. That's a costly foul for Barry.
Well, that's going to work out well for Tampa as they're going to get to shoot a 1-and-1.
With half a second.
It was clearly a held ball. Both players had the ball up high and had a hold of it. Duncan was a little bit stronger and had, I guess, the better position and was able to rip it down, and that ended up creating the foul. But I can feel for Butch Estes there as he's talking to his players, but he also had a word or two for the officials.
It's only the first on Marcinkevich's, so
yeah,
not a costly foul in that regard, but it just puts Tampa at the line with a half a second left. They walk all the way down.
So that really benefited Tampa. They're going to be able to get maybe within 6, make it a 2-possession game here at the end of the first half. That's a very fortunate break for Tampa. Not wrong.
No.
But just unfortunate for
nice.
Barry.
Nice job. And
they're going to take the timeout to try to set up a shot here.
Yeah.
See if they can get a shot away in a half a second.
Well, you do with .5, you can catch and shoot.
This will be interesting.
Yeah.
You know, at the very least, Butch Estes, I mean, obviously you want to try to get a shot on every possession you have, even if there's only 0.5 of a second. But this might be end of game type situation.
Yeah.
Let's pretend this is the end, and we have to have a basket here.
Watch for some sort of curl and lob to Burtz.
And did we see Guy come into the game again?
Yeah. Hang out near the basket.
Yeah. Will it be? No, I think he's going to guard the inbound.
Oh, guard the inbound. Okay.
Yeah. See,
yeah.
That's it. Now you're going to make it very difficult to throw the long pass, and there's no chance of fouling.
Yes.
Hopefully.
He can run the baseline. Steps back, throwing it as deep as he can, and Duncan grabs it.
Well, that's really all you could expect to try to do. Not a bad play by Barry. But good coaching decision by Richard Schmidt to put Guy,
made
the
it that much tougher. He had to put a little more arc on it, and it went well over Burt's head. Butch is having a little discussion.
Well, Tampa shoots only 39% in the first half and is still only down 6. So, again,
not shooting much better at the other end. 44, well, 44, not bad though. But anyway, we've reached the half, 35-29. We'll step out, come back just before the start of the half, and go over all the stats and get you caught up on everything. So, Jack Ike, Scott Lynn, stay with us. We'll be back for the second half on the Tampa Spartans.tv and the Sunshine State Digital Network.
spend the summer playing catch with number 12.
It's got Teflon.
Yeah, I mean,
We talked about it.
yeah, I mean,
Just got to grab that. Grab it. I thought it was a little bit better today on occasion.
as a kid, my basketball coach had played at St. Louis University when they won the NIT 60 years ago. And he said that the coach at the time always had the big guys spend an hour a day in the summer just put it in left-handed.
Underneath, just rotating.
Somebody just needs to play catch with him. And once he catches it, then you speed it up.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, as Carlos said one time, I think I told you during a game, he said, you've got to hold on to the ball like it's your girlfriend and another guy playing around. Up for a few seconds. Well, I've been continuing to do my back exercises and stuff, and I'm actually feeling better a lot of the time.
Wow, that's good.
I'm going, Wednesday I go for physical therapy to see what they suggest, and that's, he wants me to go twice a week for 3 weeks. It's $40 a trip, so unless there's a certain machine he wants me on, just tell me what stretches you want me to do and I'll do them. And then in 2 weeks, I'm going to get a shot in my back because it's a nerve that's
Yeah, that's
for a year.
Yeah. And that's all I want. Just
Yeah.
go back to Dish, hopefully at a discounted
Yeah.
rate. You want me back? Fine.
Yeah. All right. I'll recap the scoring here. Jack Ike and Scott Lynn back as we get ready for the second half. Let's go over the stats from the first half with Barry on top of the Tampa Spartans, 35-29. For Tampa, Derek Felder with 7 points. Pat Bacon is the leading scorer for Tampa with 10. Brent Duncan with 9. Martin Lakovich with 3. That's it for the Spartans, 29 points. They are 9 of 23 from the field, just 39%. 1 of 9 from 3. 10 of 12, though, on free throws, and that's keeping them in the game right now. On the other side of the ball, Burtz is their leading scorer with 9 points. Sheffield has 2. Marcinkiewicz has 3. Dean with 3. Walsh with 5. Moya with 5. Allende with 2. Strabinskis with 3. And Dolvin with 3. They are 11 of 25 from the floor, 44%, 3 of 11 from deep, and 10 of 14 from the three-point line. Rebounding right now, 19 for Tampa, 13 for Barry. Spartans have only 3 assists on their 9 baskets. Barry has dished out 5 assists. Personal fouls, 10 for Tampa, 9 for Barry, and 4 turnovers for Barry, 9 for Tampa. That's another issue the Spartans will have to try to address, is not so many turnovers in the first half as we get ready for the start of the second half. As far as rebounding goes, Spartans have had 6 offensive rebounds. Brent Duncan leading the way with 6. Derek Felder with 5 rebounds. So there's 11 of the 19 that the Spartans have in those 2 players. Foul trouble. Spartans have to worry a little bit about that, as they have 4 players with at least 2 fouls. Duncan with 2. Lakovich with 2. Guy with 3. And okay, so there are only 3 players with 3 fouls, or 2 fouls or more. On the other side of the ball, Moya has 2 fouls. Allende has 2 fouls. Nobody else has.
Well, yet, just got to be careful not to get it early in the second half. That might cause you to have to sit down.
Second half underway. Spartans in white, going right to left. Duncan on the drive, turns in the lane, spins, fouled on the way up.
What a terrific spin move that was. It looked like he was going to spin right into a charging foul, and that would have been his 3rd. He's just split them and got into the basket somehow. That was incredible.
One thing this kind of renewed offensive efforts by Duncan is it's getting him a lot to the free throw line. And, you said he was only 60%, but he's shot, as I speak, fairly well lately.
He has. And you can see he's a little disappointed in himself on that one.
He was 3 for 4 before that one, so now he's 3 for 5, which is 60%. Spartans empty on that possession. Barry comes back. Allende with the ball. Walsh to Moya. Burtz. Dolvin starting in the second half for Barry. The Spartans have Lakovich, the original starters out there. Lakovich, Bacon, Felder, Duncan, and Guy. Burtz tried to pass it, bounced off a Tampa leg, and Bacon comes back the other way. Finds Duncan. A little spin off the glass and a travel.
Duncan didn't say anything to the official, but he did kind of throw his hand back like that was not correct.
Yep.
Good thing none of the officials saw it. Might have been a technical, which would have been a 3rd personal foul. So, yeah, good thing he didn't say anything.
Moya finds Walsh, a little ball fake, floats one up off the glass and in.
A 15-foot bank shot, one-handed from the left
Not many runners
elbow.
from that far away.
From the left elbow,
Yeah.
a bank shot? Really? Wow. Good-looking shot, though. He seemed to know what he was doing there.
Yeah. Lead is 8. Bacon on the drive in the lane, bounces around, no good. Walsh rebounds.
That was the kind of shot Junio Barrueta used to make, I think, all the time. The All-American I talked about earlier.
Quickly to the other end off a turnover. To Duncan, a great assist from Bacon.
The Bucks did not see Brent Duncan sneaking down the right side of the lane there, and a good assist, as you mentioned, by Bacon.
Back to a 6-point difference. Walsh, Allende, cut off by Lakovic. Pushes Lakovic, and that should be a charge. It is. Just kind of lowered the head, lowered the shoulder, and threw the elbow out.
Lakovic has been accused by officials of flopping many times this year. That was legitimate. He got bowled into pretty strongly right there. They've done the thing of warning Lakovic
a couple times,
a few times, yeah.
Into Guy. Burt's guarding him. Out top. Felder pops, hits, fouled. 6-point difference. As Felder knocks it home, he has 9, and the lead is down to 3. Walsh with the foul. He now has 3. Free throw missed. Guy had the ball, gets it back, goes out to Felder, drives the lane, won't fall.
That's too bad because Felder, again, can glide through the air with the best of them, and he could have just laid it off the glass.
And then Walsh rolls it home.
5-point swing right there.
Yep. Chance to cut it to 2. It's now up to 7. Walsh now has 10. He takes over the scoring lead. Bacon blocked, but I think the foul is going to be on Walsh, and he's picked up his 4th. He's still down. I don't know if he's hurt or just frustrated with the call.
And he is staying down at the moment.
His teammates want him to get up. And he's going to come out. Dean coming in for him. I think he was more frustrated by the fact he just picked up 2 fouls in about a minute.
Yeah, I don't think he was injured.
No.
I mean, he isn't showing any sign of injury right this moment. I think you're right.
Just some drama.
Frustration only. Maybe a broken heart.
Yes. Good player, though. He had just hit a big 3. And then all of a sudden, 2 fouls.
I know what it was. It's an ear infection. He's hearing whistles all the time.
Yeah, could be. Bacon hitting. And, a nice jump shot there by Dean. And it's 40-35. 42-35. Felder got the lane. And I think it's goaltending on the way in.
Yeah, Lakovic came up there hoping for an offensive rebound and grabbed the rim, and offensive basket interference is called.
Now, we have 42-35 on our stats monitor. The scoreboard says 40-35. Now they've changed it.
Yeah, they just caught it.
They were not giving Dean his bucket. They do now, and it's a 7-point game. Moya drifts across top of the key. Into Dolvin on Guy. And I think they got Guy with a little push. And yes, that is a foul on Guy. That's 4 on Guy. I tell you what, that is tough because Dolvin's backing into him, and he's just trying to stand upright. I'm just not saying it wasn't a foul, but that is such a tough play for any big man. Oh, that was a huge play by Pat Bacon.
Such a tough shot, high degree of difficulty, might have even been fouled, no whistle, still managed to finish.
Bacon now with 14. And Dolvin immediately drives, and Guy had to just let him go. He missed the shot. No substitution, though, coming in for Guy at this point. Pass into Guy. Lays it up, won't go. And do we have a foul? Is it on Duncan?
If so, it's his fourth.
Boy, the Spartans have gotten themselves into a world of hurt inside with Duncan and Guy picking up a fourth foul.
Well, Brent Duncan is a little frustrated. It was a foul, no question. And even Coach Schmidt was saying to him, you can't have that.
You got to walk away from that.
Yeah, you got to walk away from that foul. We lost the possession.
90 feet away.
Now you're going to have to sit down in all likelihood. But Brent Duncan, again, has just played like a man possessed. And again, for the reason of having lost his best friend just last week. He scored 27 points that night, made 11 of 19 from the floor, had 27 points and a career high 10 rebounds, and then goes the next night, or the next game, which was the following Wednesday against Florida Tech this past week 3 days ago. 9 points and a career high 16 rebounds. And again tonight, 11 points, 8 boards, closing in on another double-double. That 27.10 rebound game was his first ever career double-double. And it looks to me like he's going to have a lot more of those before his career's over.
He's at 11 and 8 right now, but he's going to be sitting.
Of course, Tampa plays the final game of the regular season, home game at least, against Florida Southern on Wednesday night. Going to be a tough game, but it is senior night, and if you want to see Pat Bacon play, this will be, in all likelihood, your last opportunity to do so.
Right.
And what a career he has had here at Tampa. This is his 5th year. He was injured and missed most of last season. Got a redshirt year, comes back and is averaging over 21 points a game. What a thrill it's been to watch him for 4+ years.
Final regular season game is at Lynn, so if you wanted to see it, you'd have to go down to the Miami area. Dolvin missing.
Are you driving?
No.
Oh, okay.
Taking the chopper.
Okay. Big possession here for Tampa. A chance to make it a one-possession game.
Lakovic fade away front of the rim. Moya 1-on-4, pulls it back. Swing it to the right corner. Dean now. Moya resets with 10 on the shot clock. Pick from Dolvin. Allende floats in the lane, can't hit it. Bacon with the ball.
You can see how smart Brent Duncan is. He is playing with 4 fouls. The guy was driving the lane, and Brent Duncan literally went the other way. No chance of a foul if you're going the other direction.
Felder to Brendan Baker. Lakovic won't fall. Burt's racing to the other end. Allende, good.
So that's the second time where Tampa's had a chance to get within 2, and they go down and hit a 3 at the other end, and Barry extends the lead to 8.
Last couple times down, Bacon has been running the point with Felder on the wing. Felder for 3. No good. And Burt's to the other end. Bumps into Lakovic, but lays it off the glass and in. 10-point difference now, and Tampa calls a timeout with 13:33 to go.
Yeah, this is
5-point swing there.
The largest lead of the game for either team, and again, the first double-digit lead for Barry, and they start to show a little more pep in their step right now.
Spartans' 3-point woes continue. They're 0 for 2 this half. 1 of 11 is it for the game. Burt's up to 11 points, scoring lead, 10 for Walsh. Spartan side, Bacon with 14, Duncan with 11, Felder with 9. Spartans still cold from the floor, though. Just 37% for the game. Women's team posting a big win. 18-0 now in the SSC, clinching an outright championship with a 28-point win over Barry earlier today.
Congratulations to Coach Tom Jesse, Caitlin Mitrick, Bell Bistro. The coaching staff's done a great job, and the players, oh my goodness, they are just so focused on winning them one at a time. Again, we heard Julia Ingram say the same thing that Chris Nelson told us Wednesday. You know, yeah, we know how long that streak is, but we only care about winning that game that day. We don't care about any of that other stuff. They've really been able to focus, and they've got 6 players capable of scoring 20 on any given night.
Zone defense now from Barry.
Yeah.
Spartans have been cold from deep, so not a bad strategy. Lakovich tries to go inside, gets it out to Baker. 5 on the clock, misses the shot, and Burt's rebounds quickly to Moya. They swing it to the left side. Duncan with a steal. This time he cut in front of Dolvin instead of letting him get the entry pass. Bacon, a fadeaway, good. 16 for Bacon, the lead is now 8, but Dean drives to the other end, fouled by Duncan, and his day may be done.
They just announced that was his 3rd foul, but the scoreboard shows 5. We have 5 fouls for him on our stats monitor. And I don't know if Richard Schmidt knew that he had 4, possibly.
Yeah.
And again, there must be a mistake because they're letting Brent Duncan stay out.
At the half, it said he had 2, which is what I thought we said he had. I'm not sure. The scoreboard, unfortunately, is not showing fouls. It's been inoperative from that aspect today.
So
he's still in, so
and there's
we'll pretend it's 4 fouls.
Yeah. Okay.
Long 3, good. Serbinskis from deep water, and he has 6, and the lead is 12.
I wonder how the stats crew is going to work that out in the box score at the end of the game. He fouled out at the 12.5-minute mark, but he continued to play. I'll tell you something, and I'm making fun here because you know there's a discrepancy somewhere, but it's so tough to do stats. The NBA crews, it's a 3-person crew.
Yeah.
There's people watching specific things and telling one person who's typing it all on the play-by-play sheet. And here it's usually somebody different almost every game, and it might be somebody doing it for the first time on any given night. So it's impossible. It's an impossible job. I give them all the credit in the world for trying.
10-point difference. Bacon with the rebound. Spartans come the other way. Baskets are getting to be bigger and bigger.
And the stats monitor officially has him with 4 fouls now, Brent Duncan.
I saw him working.
He's still in the game.
Okay. Lakovich with a 3. Spartans just knocked down their 2nd 3 of the game. Just 2 of 13. Got it down to 7, though. They need a couple more stops. Tighten this one up. Dean with a floater. No good. Lakovich rebounds. Spartans have to turn these transitions into points.
Still so much time. We got 11 minutes plus yet in this game.
Felder fade away in the lane, bouncing, no good. Duncan rebounded, it goes out of bounds, it'll stay Spartans ball.
Srebenskas had a chance to try to knock that away from Duncan, knocked it out of bounds. It'll be Tampa ball, only down 7.
It is the under 12 timeout with 10:56 to go. 51-44, Barry on top of Tampa. We do have Duncan with 4 and Guy with 4. Lakovic has stayed at 2. .56 to play in the game.
Well, Tampa's going to need to win it at the defensive end. I need to make some stops from Barry if they're going to be able to do this. Barry shooting 50% this half, up from the first half. So, again, Tampa needs to make stops. Both teams have made 6 field goals in this half. Tampa's had 3 more shots from the floor. But again, 6 of 15 from three-point range, 40% for Barry. And as you mentioned, just 2 of 13 for Tampa from beyond the arc.
Barry's hit 6 field goals this half. Half have been 3-pointers. They're 3 of 4 from the 3 this half. Though they've only outscored Tampa by 1. Tampa's gotten to the free throw line a few times. They're 12 of 17. Barry is 11 of 16, so a lot of throws have been going up. Felder to inbound. Finds Baker. 3 on the way. This time he knocks it down. And I think there's a foul on Marcinkiewicz. But I think he fouled Lakovic on the pick.
Yeah, he set a great screen. Lakovic was knocked down, so it's a chance for a 4-point play, I believe. They're going to.
Well, it might be the ball out.
They might get the ball underneath the basket. You're right. I was thinking it was a 1 free throw.
Could, in theory, be a 6-point play.
I think in the NBA that's a free throw rather than an out of bounds.
Possession?
Yeah. So this is good as far as Tampa's concerned. They get a chance to make a 5 or 6-point possession.
Lakovic couldn't make it though.
Boy, that's too bad from Richard Schmidt. Just put his head down like, oh, so close.
Though they've cut it to 4.
On the previous play, by the way,
Marcinkiewicz.
It was a beautifully orchestrated play. They designed that thing beautifully to get a shot for Baker, and he knocked it down. And again, a good screen by Lakovic. Now they need to do it again. They need to match basket for basket and then make a couple of stops to have a chance to knock off this Barry team.
Lakovic. Bacon drives the lane. No foul called. And a jump ball. It'll be Barry's basketball. I've noticed over the last few games that the player of choice when they need a small forward, shooting forward, has been Brendan Baker over Tyler Wall.
Yeah, and
Wall has gotten in today, but Baker's gotten the majority of the minutes.
Yeah. You know, Jacob Harris scored, I think, 11 points in the game at Barry, and we have not seen him today.
Burt's hitting the jumper. Up to 8 again.
And to your point, Brendan Baker played 12 minutes in the first half.
And Felder knocks it down. He now has 12. Two-pointer?
Just two-pointer.
So
at first
11.
I thought he might have been beyond the arc, but no, it was a 2 all the way.
Sheffield back in. He has the ball. Finds Burt's. Burt's drives, puts the head down, but the foul is on Lakovic.
Yeah, and that's a good call. He was moving to his right and drew the contact.
You can be moving and take a charge, but it's whether you slide into them or not. If you get there first.
Yeah, he almost got him in the side. You know, I mean, he wasn't there yet. Wasn't to the spot.
Burt's missing the free throw.
Guy, Lakovic, and Duncan, the entire front line playing with 3 or more fouls.
One of them on the bench right now. That's Guy.
Yep.
7-point lead for Barry, 9 minutes plus to go. Bacon fouled on the drive, and he'll shoot.
Well, he gets to the free throw line more than any Tampa Spartan player. And, I mean, he came into the game having attempted 181 in 24 games. Well, these are his 7th and 8th free throw attempts of this one.
And his first miss.
Both teams 12 of 18 from the line right now.
Bacon knocks the second one down. His 17th point, and a 56-50 lead for Barry. 9 minutes to go right now. Moya back in the lineup, slowly up court, gets to Sheffield. Bounces it to Burtz. Sheffield a deep three, front of the rim. Got a nice roll and hit it.
He turned and smiled a little bit, but he'll take it for sure.
59-50. Spartans cut it to 51-47, but an 8-3 run has made it a 9-point difference. Shot clock down to 7. Bacon left wide open, won't hit it though. Quickly up court is Moya. To Sheffield, who just hit a 3. Allende. Working the perimeter. Marcinkevičius has it knocked out of his hands by Baker, but they called a foul.
Well, again, this is what one of those issues where the player reaches down. Baker could have just put his hands straight up and he would have been fine, but he reached down to try to slap the ball away and was called for the foul reaching in.
So we'll have shots coming up out of the timeout, but it's the under 8 timeout with a 59-50 Barry lead.
Duncan just 1 rebound away from his 2nd career double-double. Burtz looks like he might be on track for another double-double. 14 points, 8 boards.
So the 2 leading scorers for each team are doing just that. They're leading their team in scoring at the moment. Burtz with 14, Bacon with 17. Burtz averages 19, Bacon averages 22.
You know, Baker does get the foul there, but I'll tell you something. He is really starting to feel more confident out on the floor. I mean, I know his shot making is one of the reasons he gets out on the floor, but he's been playing better defense.
Yeah.
And didn't get a lot of opportunity. You know, last season, hardly at all. And now this year, you're starting to see him out there a little bit more. And again, his numbers are not huge by any stretch of the imagination, but you can see he's getting very comfortable. And, you know, 6'5", and he's a redshirt junior. He's got another year. He might be a big help again next season.
Yeah, he'll have an increased role next year.
Be interesting to see how this team does if everybody comes back and comes back healthy. Jonathan Bryant was a terrific guy off the bench early in the season.
He's assuming he's going to get a redshirt year. He only played 5 games.
Yeah, and averaged over 15 points a game.
Off the bench.
Yeah.
Bryant Brown will be available. He tore an ACL in the summer. He's just a freshman.
Out of Waukegan, Illinois, I remember.
Duncan missing, fighting for it. Tampa's ball. Bryant was the all-time leading scorer at Waukegan, 2,000 points. And that's a heck of a high school to be the all-time leading scorer.
Great
that's
tradition
a Chicago
there.
area high school.
Great tradition, and if you're a 2,000-point scorer at Waukegan, you got some skills.
Talent.
Yep.
Talked to Pat Bacon, and he said, yeah, the kid does. He said, I've seen him, highlights of him. There's a foul on Dolvin fouling Duncan. Vincent Biffle will be back next year.
Yep. He is a senior this year, but again, played 7 games and
so that's
was injured.
3 players who are pretty good, who have barely stepped foot on the court.
And you've had Brent Duncan miss about half a dozen games. You've had Derek Felder missed games. Bacon was really about the only guy.
Yeah,
well, I guess Lakovic had started them all, but until this last game on Wednesday night, Bacon had played and started every game too. But they were about the only 2 guys to dodge the injury bug.
Duncan hitting the free throw to give him 13 points. Now has 10 rebounds as well from that end. So he's got another double-double.
Number 2 of his career. Congratulations, Brent Duncan.
His 2 double-doubles in his last 3 games. And he's also had double-digit rebounds in his last 3 games.
And 4 on the season. Again,
yes.
He had 10 in an early game. I think it was Nova Southeastern, but you go all season, he's had a bunch of 7 and 8 rebound games, even a few 9s.
Sheffield, Dolvin with the rebound, turns around, misses, rebounds, puts it in. Lead is 11. Biggest lead was 12. Under 7 to go now. Back in the zone. Gio Diaz in the Spartans lineup. They may need to look for a 3-point guy. Bacon fadeaway hits. He has 19.
Yeah, Diaz came in for Brendan Baker during that last dead ball.
Sheffield in the land of the Giants.
Well, that was a great effort by Lakovic, and he threw it off the player, the Barry player, and it was headed out of bounds. And I think
it hit Tampa on the way out.
Tampa, just before or just as it hit the line, Tampa touched it. Brent Duncan or Gio Diaz. I forget who touched it, but I saw a white jersey.
I think Diaz did.
Yeah.
Just trying to make the save.
Yeah, it was a great effort by Lakovic. He makes a lot of really tough effort plays.
Referees checking, but now they're okay. We're back into Dean.
They put a fresh 30 on the shot clock, I think, because Lakovic had possession.
Okay. Dolvin almost stolen. Now it is stolen. Bacon to the other end. Does he try to go up? He does. He drives. He scores and is fouled.
Boy, Mylan Sheffield is like, I'm trying to get out of his way. But I think Bacon did draw some contact and got the whistle. Also,
well, Sheffield was trying to bail out.
He was trying to get out of the way. Just
to the right side of the lane, but thinking Bacon would try for the right-handed layup. But Bacon went over to that side.
Bacon went left.
And put up the left-handed shot. 3-point play. 22 for Bacon. Lead is cut to 6. Lead is cut to 7, I should say. Almost a steal again. (62-56). Lead is 6. Dean up at the top of the key. Step back 3.
Wow.
And he tickles the twine.
What a pretty shot that was.
9-point lead.
And a big one at the time.
Yes. Back to a 9-point lead. Felder fading away. Won't go. Sheffield skies for the rebound. Kicks it out. Moya steps back. 3. Good. That hurt. 12-point lead from 6 to 12 in 30 seconds.
And the Barry bench is alive after that one. And again, Pat Bacon let the ball roll all the way up the floor.
But the clock was already running.
And the clock was running. Yeah. I've seen this even in the NBA. I've seen this happen where players roll it and don't pick it up thinking, well, we don't have to start our possession, but the clock is running.
Yeah.
It's not like the clock has stopped. So that's an interesting thing that we see at every level.
Yes.
I'm not being critical of Pat Bacon. It's just something that I've noticed. I think Damian Lillard, I saw do that in a game. First team All-NBA player, a possible MVP candidate, and I saw him do that in a game.
Not realizing the clock was running?
The clock was running.
Yeah.
It was like 3 minutes left. So the clock is running. And
well, years ago, as the game has changed, it used to be you had 5 seconds to get the ball in to throw it.
And it
had to be touched.
Had to be touched within.
Now it's as long as it's left your hand within 5 seconds. So that's why they roll it up the court.
They roll it up the floor, but most times you see the player not pick it up because the clock isn't running. And that doesn't begin. The clock doesn't begin until they touch it. But if the clock's running, it makes no sense to waste the time.
Yeah, I don't know if they even realize it.
No.
I always think they waste so much time just strolling up court. Pick it up and hustle.
Yeah.
And you'll get to the same point at the same time. Anyway, it's a 12-point difference with under 5 to go. Diaz into Duncan. Goes to slam, but has it go in anyway.
Well, that was fortunate.
Yes.
But it was strength against strength. And Brent Duncan has things going his way.
He has 16 on the day. Having another good game for Tampa. Working the perimeter. That's Moya. Kicks it back out to Burks. All alone. 3 on the way. Won't go. Duncan rebounds. Rebound number 11 to go at 16 points. Lakovic won't get the bucket. Had a chance to cut it to 8. Moya to the other end. Net. That's about the third time we've seen that.
Missing a 2-pointer right at the rim. And then they go down and hit a 3.
That's 11 now for Moya. Third player in double digits.
A 5-point swing 3 times. That's 15 points difference. And Tampa trails by 13.
Yep. Not that everything else would have played out the same, but it probably would be a lot closer. And not to say if Tampa would have scored, Barry wouldn't have scored.
Right.
But let's give Tampa 6 more points out of the deal, and it's a 6-point, it's a 5-point game.
Yeah.
Just saying Tampa, if they'd have hit
or 7-point
easy
game. 7-point game. I'm doing the math.
It's 13 now.
I'm doing the math today.
Yes.
I'm in charge of the math.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, I know. It can be. It can be. You're usually in charge of the math.
I know. I don't know why I had an 11-point difference.
Okay, we're good. We're good. It's all good. Well, 3.5 to play. Barry has to be feeling awfully good.
Yep.
They've come up with big shots when they needed them.
Stranger things have happened, but we'll see.
Walsh, who's played with some foul trouble, again, has played only 14 minutes, but has 10 points in his 14 minutes. Burtz has been so solid again, 14 points, 8 boards. Moya with 11 points. Nice balance. Pretty much every player who's seen court time has 5 or more points for Barry. So again, they get their points from a lot of different people. And in fact, on the season, they only have 3 players average in double figures.
Bacon to the line where he is 8 of 9.
Yeah, Burtz is the big scorer at 19 points a game. But then Kakar at 11.8 and Dolvin at 10. But again, they've got almost, well, let's see.
And Kakar has not even played.
Yeah, 5 more players averaging 6.7 up to up to 9.2. So again, great balance. Butch Estes has a deep bench and can go to it with confidence.
Dean to Moya. 8 on the shot clock. Dean running out of room, puts it up anyway, no good. Into the hands of Lakovic. Quickly up court comes Bacon. Felder, Lakovich to Bacon, trying to back out, double teamed. Lakovich, Felder, Bacon, off the glass and in. Bacon posting up and scoring.
And his 8th game of 25 or more points this season. He's got 26 now.
He's picked up about 10 of these points in about the last 10 minutes. Dolvin, free throw line jumper, no good. Rebound, Felder. Spartans could get in the hunt if they can hit here. Bacon kicks it out to Lakovich. Can't hit, but gets fouled. Looks of disbelief on that foul call.
There's at least 1 or 2 fans here from Barry, and they are pretty vocal behind us.
Yes. So is Evan Walsh. Lakovich will go to the free throw line. Just 2 of 5 from there right now.
Big free throws here. Knock them down, give yourself a chance.
Lakovich, not a great free throw shooter, and today he's just 2 of 6. Three of 7. Spartans picking up full court, but Walsh to the other end, and Gio Diaz fouls him.
It's only the 6th team foul, so it'll be ball out on the side with just over 2 minutes to play.
There were some cat calls from behind us that said, check the fouls, 11-5. It's now 11-6 this half.
Diaz did not intend to foul there, but it really wasn't a bad foul.
Right.
It was a 2-on-2, maybe a 2-on-1 break. It works out okay.
Under
for
2
Tampa.
minutes now. The lead is 8. Burtz elevates, misses, but I think they got Lakovich on the foul.
And a late whistle, but I think a correct whistle.
Yeah.
It happened right in front of
It was so
Estes.
late, I thought it was somebody fouling Duncan on the rebound.
Yeah, I think it was the correct call.
Yes.
Lakovich.
His 4th.
Yeah, he went up there to try to block it.
Burtz rolls it in, 9-point lead.
Richard Schmidt did not argue that
Yep.
very long. He just kind of looked on as if, I wish that hadn't happened that way.
Burtz knocks them both down. He has 16.
Torudin, the freshman, comes back into the game here.
He's had a nice game.
Yeah, 9 points, 6 boards, couple of assists.
Gio Diaz popping the 3, no good. Gets it up court to Walsh. Moya with the ball.
A must-stop situation right here for Tampa to have a chance.
Yeah, they can run it down to about 1:15 or so. Whether they score or not. Stolen by Lakovich. It goes out of bounds. It should be Tampa ball. Lakovich went sliding into the chairs where the Barry players are sitting.
You know, that actually is a kind of a fortunate break for Barry, because it looked to me like Dolvin might have been whistled for a foul in the scramble for the ball there. As Lakovich went into the bench. It was a correct call going out of bounds, but he could have been a whistle, and that would have meant possible points with the clock not moving.
Bacon looking for Lakovich, but Lakovich wasn't looking for the pass.
Yeah.
Typically, Bacon will shoot that, and Lakovich thought as much.
Yeah, going for the rebound at that point, and the miscommunication is a turnover, and Tampa's 12th
to go in the game. A 10-point Barry lead. Dean bounces it to Dolvin. Looking around. Walsh to Dean at the shot clock. Wow. Just threw it in because he had to at the buzzer, and Dean hits a 3.
Just trying to draw iron, and he missed the basket. He missed the rim. All he got was net.
Yeah. 76-63. Well, that was the dagger, folks.
That's the nail in the coffin there for sure.
20
good
seconds
game
to
by
go.
Barry. Good game. They fought off a determined effort by Tampa, but Barry's going to get the much-needed win, and Tampa will be looking to Wednesday night and Florida Southern before long.
10 seconds to go. They will probably take the shot clock violation. Tampa will get the ball with 2 seconds. And at the buzzer, the ball game ends. Barry 76, Tampa 63. Barry goes to 18-7 on the year, 12-6 in the conference, while the Spartans fall to 7-19 on the year, 4-14 in the conference. Scoring real quickly: Lakovich with 7, Felder with 11, Duncan with 16, Bacon with 26, and Baker had 3. Spartans shot just 40% from the floor. On the other side, Walsh with 10, Moya with 11, Burtz with 16, Marcinkiewicz 6, Allende with 5, Sheffield with 5, Dean with 12, Srebinskis with 6, Dolvin with 5 to round out the scoring. They shot 25 of 50, 50% from the floor. So Barry wins it. Next for Tampa will be Wednesday night, the final home game of the year, senior night, as Florida Southern, the conference leader, comes to town. Should be an interesting matchup as we say so long to Pat Bacon in his final appearance here in Tampa. So for Scott Lynn, this is Jack Ike saying thanks for joining us. You've been listening to the game right here on TampaSpartans.tv and the Sunshine State Digital Network.
That ESPN book,
Yeah.
I found ways to get in the first base. I thought you might want that for baseball. Still a little time.
All right. Thank you.
This was a book from